Hello there, vinyl community and YouTube. The premiere video of my new intro. I hope you enjoyed it. And as you can hear, I'm having a little bit of a cold. It's not nearly as big as it was this autumn in late October, when I was totally out cold for a week. It is much easier this time, but still, if you can hear my voice is a little bit different, that is the reason. But I felt like I wanted to do a part in a series that I did before, and then I have that had more or less drowned in everything else I've been doing in with the on the move travelogues and vinyl CD updates and contest response and so on. I have been lazy doing it. It's been more or less been forgotten, but I decided, why not? I felt like doing another year celebration like I did before, and I checked in my history of videos and saw that the year that I was going to choose was still free to do. It is a year when we in Sweden had an election. Olof Palme became the Prime Minister, and we're talking about the year of 1982. I'm not going to say that it is my favorite year. A lot of these songs that are way overplayed came this year, and those are the songs, many of them that. When you hear the year 1982, those are the songs that you hear, which I admit, 1982 I have been overlooking it a little too much because of those songs. But of course, 1982 also was a fantastic year for new wave and synthpop, which will be shown in these examples that I will be showing. Let's go through the songs and the albums of 1982, and I will also be revealing which song that was the most selling song in Sweden this year. Starting up with the singles from the 80s, from 1982. Starting off with the final singles of a very well-known Swedish band. I'm talking about ABBA, who released Under Attack and The Day Before You Came. After these singles, they were going to take a break, as I said, a break that still goes on, and have been doing it have been doing it for ever since 1982, and it will most likely never end, this break. I can't see any reason for them to come back. This was a time when ABBA was going from their more disco style into some kind of a musical sounding new wave style. A little more synthesizer style, with the melodies being more and more sounding like Björn and Benny's musical style that they showed in Chess and Mamma Mia and so on. But great production, definitely. Now, some new wave singles. How about first singles from Tears for Fears and their album The Hurting? Mad World, Pale Shelter, love these ones. Some of Pale Shelter will gotta be one of Tears for Fears' absolute best songs ever. We have Yazoo, or as Americans have called them, Jazz, with Don't Go. Well-known synth intro. We have Human League, Mirror Man, And we have Thompson Twins, In the Name of Love. Oh, that also was featured in the soundtrack and the movie of Ghostbusters 2 years later. Coming back to Synthpop later on, we're going to the full-length albums. But here we have some singles of some of the biggest names that released albums this year. We have Peter Gabriel, Shock the Monkey. Really great one. One of maybe a very overplayed song, but still a great one. Can't leave this one out. Toto, Africa, from their album 4. We have this year's Eurovision Song Contest winner, which was Germany, and one of the few songs that have hit the of the few Eurovision winners that have hit the market outside of Germany, and even outside of the Eurovision countries. Nicole with the white guitar, and Ein bisschen Frieden. Classic. Stephen Miller Band, Abracadabra. Remember when I heard this the first time, I thought that the little pitched voice that he had in the refrain sounded a little spooky when I was a kid. F.R. David from Tunis, I think, with the song Words. European massive hit here. Real bubblegum Italo disco style over it, French European disco style over it. So let's go on to the full-length vinyls released in 1982, and we start with the new wave synthpop, since that was the best thing of 1982 in my opinion. We have the second album from Kim Wilde, Select, that contains View from a Bridge. Is View from a Bridge one of the most depressive songs ever in pop music history when you listen to the lyrics? And you have Cambodia. You have Simple Minds, New Gold Dream, 81, 82, 83, 84. Promised You a Miracle, really great song. And we have one of my absolute favorites, maybe my absolute favorite album by Ultravox Quartet. I really like this album. I love almost every album by Ultravox. Maybe not the ones without Me Sure from 1993, but but in the 80s, or every of that album. But this one might be my favorite. Hymn, really awesome one. Reap the Wild Reap the Wild Wind, and We Came to Dance, sadly forgotten single. And can't forget my favorite, Depeche Mode, Broken Frame, their second album. An album that had elements of what was yet to come, their more darker style, synth-pop style, and what was in the debut album, Speak and Spell, a little jumpy synth-pop style. And you have Leave in Silence, fantastic song here. My Secret Garden, not so secret anymore. See You, fantastic song. The Meaning of Love, fantastic, great album. Robert C. Depeche Mode, A Broken Frame, highly recommended. ABC, a classic one, Lexicon of Love, an icon in new wave style, British new wave style. And here we have, of course, Poison Arrow, and we have the the look of love and fantastic, awesome album. We have stepping away from new wave, some of the again biggest names, with some albums that maybe was not all that recognized, at least not didn't come in any big hits, but fantastic ones. Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska, a naked Bruce Springsteen, naked musically, of course. He didn't sit without any clothes in the studio, but musically naked Bruce Springsteen with just a guitar and fantastic lyrics. My God, what awesome and thoughtful lyrics in this very interesting album. Fleetwood Mac, Mirage, Gypsy we have here, among others. Coming to Chicago, of course, one of my favorites, Chicago 16. One of the albums that was some kind of a bridge between the more rock ballad style that was to come for a couple of years, and their more jazz funky style from the 70s. This album was more or less a bridge for that. It contained both, and I know that many Chicago fans have divided opinions about it, but I like it. I like it very much. Maybe because I like Chicago, no matter what, if they're singing rock ballads or if they singing 60s rock, or if they're doing more funky with horns in the 70s. I love Chicago, period, so I love this one. I've shown this one over and over, and I really love it, and I showing it again. One of my absolute favorite albums by Phil Collins, maybe only in competition with no record required or face value. Hello, I Must Be Going. Really love this album. And I didn't love for first when I didn't thought was good, but then when I heard it, I realized that hey, this was amazing album. Really love this one. And finally, a little special, a little ska music. Not all too interested in that kind of music, but in this case, I definitely I love this band. Maybe because of their energy. I love the singer Buster Bloodvessel's energy and his humor, and this band is fantastic. Bad Manners, Forging Ahead, containing their version of Exodus. You have Samson and Delilah, and My Girl Lollipop. This is an amazing, crazy and hilarious, funny album. Highly recommended. Ska with a whole lot of humor and energy. And the most selling single in Sweden this year, in 1982. I can't show the single because I don't have it, and I feel like it's not something that I really need to have. It might be a little surprising because there were a lot of great classical 80s singles that came, but the most selling single in Sweden were Oh Julie by Shaking Stevens, and it was that kind of song that almost every dancing orchestra in Sweden called Dansband made their own cover of, because it was so soothing for doing for dancing, for bugging and dancing, and I remember when I was a kid, I was going to have dance lessons in school. They always had to torture us by having Oh Julie by Shaking Stevens, and I think that is one reason why I feel I don't want it, because I have been more or less cured by it. But no matter what I feel, that one was what the Swedes liked the most in singles in 1982. I'm not sure how the future of this series will look like. might be that I'm feeling a little for doing more of these now. That I have been in a flow now of doing year celebrations again. Let's see what becomes of it. But until next time, I hope that each and every one of you have a real nice time, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. Take care and so long.